The streets of the United Kingdom are currently burning in a way that has not been seen for generations. From the historic squares of London to the industrial heart of Birmingham, the landscape has been transformed into a literal war zone. Thick black smoke from torched vehicles fills the air, while the rhythmic sound of shattering glass serves as a constant reminder that order has collapsed. Thousands of people have taken to the streets under the banner of "Enough is enough." But what started as a cry for justice has quickly spiraled into total urban chaos. The scale of the unrest is so massive that it has completely paralyzed the emergency infrastructure. Sources reveal that over 45,000 emergency calls went unanswered in a single 24-hour window because every single officer was already deployed or overwhelmed. Families are barricading themselves inside their homes as they watch their neighborhoods crumble under the weight of a violence that seems to have no end. However, there is a hidden layer to this story that should make every citizen question what they see on the news. While the public is told that these riots are purely the result of local anger, evidence is emerging of a much more sinister orchestration. This is the first major twist in our investigation. Multiple eyewitnesses across different cities have reported seeing unlabeled buses arriving at the protest sites just minutes before the first stone was thrown. From these vehicles emerged groups of highly organized individuals wearing black masks and tactical gear. These people did not participate in the peaceful chants of the locals. Instead, they immediately began targeting specific buildings and inciting the crowd into a frenzy. As soon as the situation became violent and the cameras started rolling, these mysterious agitators retreated into the darkness and disappeared. This leads to a chilling realization that we cannot ignore. Is it possible that this chaos was manufactured to create a justification for total government control? If these incidents were staged, then the riots are merely a tool to pave the way for a national emergency. We are witnessing the destruction of a society in real time, and the truth is being hidden behind a wall of official silence. It is crucial to understand that what happens in the United Kingdom today could be a blueprint for the rest of the world tomorrow. If you like this video, please leave a comment with the number 1 below. If you do not like this video, please leave a like. The aftermath of the manufactured chaos has led to the emergence of a system that many are calling two-tier policing. This is a reality where the law is no longer applied equally to all citizens, but is instead used as a political weapon to silence specific groups. While violent criminals and gangs in certain neighborhoods seem to operate with a strange level of immunity, the full weight of the state is being dropped on the heads of the working class. We are seeing grandmothers and teenagers being arrested and hauled into court within hours for simply sharing a video or posting a meme on social media. The speed of the judicial system in these cases is unprecedented, as the government seeks to make an example of anyone who dares to challenge the official narrative online. People are being sentenced to years in prison for words, while those committing physical assaults on the streets are often released on bail or given mere warnings. At the same time, the streets remain dangerous for ordinary families who feel they have been abandoned by the very institutions meant to protect them. There is a profound sense of betrayal among the people who have paid taxes and built this country over generations. They see their history being erased and their concerns being labeled as hate speech by a political elite that lives behind high walls and private security. This tier of the justice system is designed to crush the spirit of the local population, while offering a protective shield to those who do not share their values or respect their laws. The police are no longer seen as protectors of the peace, but as the enforcement arm of an ideology that views patriotism as a threat to national stability. The suppression of free speech has reached a level that feels like a dystopian nightmare. The Online Safety Act is being utilized not to protect children from harm, but to hunt down anyone who speaks the truth about what is happening in their own backyards. Every comment, every share, and every like is being monitored by artificial intelligence algorithms that are programmed to flag dissent. If you speak up about the hotel costs for migrants or the lack of hospital beds, you are branded an extremist. This atmosphere of fear is intended to keep the population quiet while the final pieces of a surveillance state are put into place. People are losing their livelihoods and their reputations for opinions that were considered common sense only a few years ago. The divide between the rulers and the ruled has never been wider, and the tension is reaching a breaking point that no amount of censorship can hide. Beyond the censorship and the physical violence lies the final objective of this entire operation, which is the total control of human behavior through digital identity. This is the moment where the surveillance state moves from the shadows into every aspect of your daily life. The government is now pushing for a mandatory digital pass that will be required for all 60 million citizens to access everything from public transport to grocery stores. They claim it is a tool to stop the rioters and identify criminals, but the reality is much more invasive. Every transaction you make and every place you visit will be recorded in a central database that never forgets. If the artificial intelligence systems we discussed earlier flag your behavior as a risk, your digital pass can be suspended instantly, leaving you unable to even buy a loaf of bread. This leads us to the most shocking twist of all, which reveals the true motivation behind the chaos. While the world is distracted by the fires on the streets, the financial foundations of the nation are being intentionally dismantled. Leaked documents suggest that the traditional currency is being pushed toward a total collapse after a sudden 90% reduction in available physical cash. This vacuum will be filled by a central bank digital currency. This is not just a change in how we pay for things, but a complete loss of financial privacy and freedom. In this new system, money will have a 30-day expiration date, and its use will be restricted to approved items. If you try to donate to a political cause the government dislikes, or if you try to purchase items they deem unnecessary, your funds can be frozen within 5 seconds. The riots provided the perfect smokescreen for this economic transition. By creating a state of emergency, the authorities have closed over 500 bank branches to force people into the digital grid. You are no longer a citizen with rights, but a user in a digital network who must maintain a high compliance score to participate in society. Any dissent results in a 15% deduction from your social credit, which limits your ability to travel. The end game is a world where dissent is not just punished, but made physically impossible, because you cannot survive without the approval of the central algorithm. We are standing at the edge of a new era, where the light of liberty is being traded for the cold efficiency of a digital prison. The question is no longer about who started the riots, but who will have the courage to stand outside of the system before the gates are locked forever. This is the reality where your survival depends on your total obedience to the machine. The time to decide your future is now. The silence that has fallen over the major cities of the United Kingdom is perhaps more terrifying than the noise of the riots that preceded it. The fires have been extinguished and the broken glass has been cleared away. But the nation that once stood as a beacon of democracy is now a shell of its former self. This is the fourth and final chapter of our deep dive into the collapse of a superpower. What we are witnessing is not a local crisis, but a global prototype for a new era of governance. High-level meetings are taking place behind closed doors in places like Brussels and Washington, where officials are carefully studying the data collected during the British experiment. They are looking at how quickly a population can be coerced into surrendering their fundamental rights when faced with a combination of physical fear and economic instability. For those who have accepted the new digital identity in the central bank digital currency, life appears to have returned to a strange version of normal. They walk the streets with their smartphones in hand, oblivious to the fact that every step they take and every word they whisper is being analyzed by a central processor. However, for the millions who have refused to comply, the world has become an invisible prison. These individuals are the new ghosts of the digital age. They cannot board a train or enter a hospital, and their names have been scrubbed from the official records of the state. They exist in the shadows, trading physical goods and old coins in an effort to maintain a shred of the autonomy that was once a birthright for every British citizen. The ultimate goal of this grand design is the elimination of the human spirit in favor of absolute predictability. In this world, there is no room for the unpredictable nature of freedom or the chaotic energy of independent thought. The machine requires perfect data, and perfect data requires perfect obedience. As we watch the final lights of old London fade, we must realize that the border between the physical world and the digital prison has finally vanished. The blueprint is now complete, and it is ready to be exported to every corner of the planet. We are the last generation to remember what it felt like to be truly free, and the responsibility to preserve that memory falls on our shoulders. The shadows are growing longer, and the clock is ticking toward a midnight that may never end. This is a wake-up call for every person who values their soul over their convenience. The future is no longer something that happens to us, but something that is being programmed by those who hold the keys to the server. We must decide if we are willing to pay the price of liberty or if we will accept the comfortable chains of a digital existence. The ripples of the British experiment are now crossing the Atlantic and reaching the shores of every developed nation on Earth. This was never intended to be a local event, confined to the borders of a single island. It is a global contagion of control that is spreading faster than any virus could ever hope to. In the high offices of international organizations, the success of the British lockdown of the mind is being celebrated as a triumph of modern engineering. They have proven that with the right combination of fear and technological dependence, a population will not only accept its chains, but will actually beg for them in the name of safety. The infrastructure of the global surveillance grid is being synchronized as we speak. What was tested in the streets of London is now being implemented in the shadows of New York, Tokyo, and Paris. The software is ready, and the hardware is already in your pocket. This leads us to the final and most devastating realization of this entire journey. We often look for a villain in a high tower or a secret government office, but the truth is far more uncomfortable. The digital prison was not built by a single dictator, but was constructed brick by our own hands. Every time we chose convenience over privacy, and every time we traded our data for a free app, we were handing over the keys to our own cells. We are the ones who fed the artificial intelligence that now monitors our every thought. We are the ones who abandoned the local butcher and the independent bookshop for the efficiency of the global platforms. The system is only powerful because we have become entirely dependent on it. If the grid were to disappear tomorrow, most people would not know how to survive for more than a few days. The window of opportunity to reverse this process is closing at a rapid pace. We are standing at a crossroads where one path leads to a permanent digital dark age, and the other leads back to the difficult but beautiful light of human sovereignty. This is not a battle of politics or borders, but a battle for the very definition of what it means to be a human being. We must decide if we are willing to reconnect with our neighbors and build local communities that do not rely on a central server. The power of the machine relies on our isolation and our fear. When we stand together and refuse to be divided by their manufactured chaos, the system begins to lose its grip. The future is still unwritten, and the pen is in your hand. The choice remains with you as the final curtain falls on the old world. We have seen the blueprint, and the prison walls are closing in, but the power of the human spirit cannot be coded. To resist is to remember who you are. To resist is to choose connection over consumption and courage over compliance. The age of shadows is here, but the fire of truth still burns in the hearts of those who refuse to be silent. Watch the signs and stay vigilant, because the world is watching you. This is the end of the beginning for all of us.